Well, sometime back now, maybe a year, whatever, maybe not even a year, I did a video on the Smith & Wesson 43C. This is not that gun. It's a very good facsimile of that gun, but this is actually my 442 38 Special. The only difference between this gun and the 43C is that this shoots 38 Special, has a steel cylinder as opposed to aluminum, and it doesn't have the excess white dot sight. It just has a regular old revolver type of sights. So that video is actually one of my more popular videos as far as views go. And in that video I mentioned that my buddy that I borrowed that gun from also had a 617, the Big Daddy 10-shot 22 revolver. And we've got that here today. Let's take a look at it. So as you might imagine, it comes in a nice Smith & Wesson hard shell case. And this thing is huge and heavy. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, this is pretty much basically the same frame as you would find in a 686, something of that nature. I think it's a K frame maybe. It's double action, single action, as opposed to the 43C. It was just like this, double action only. 10-shot cylinder. Nice sights. You just a post sight up here, but you do have an adjustable rear sight. This thing, I forget the actual weight on it. I'll put it right here when I get back to editing. But as you would expect from a $700–800 Smith & Wesson revolver, even chambered in 22 long rifle, this thing is very, very well built. And like I said, it's not a cheap gun in price or in quality. But if you're looking for a 22 revolver target pistol even, you couldn't go wrong with something like this. Now, being a Smith & Wesson, it's rare to find one like this that doesn't have the Hillary hole, but this one does. Right there, you got the stupid little lock. I've never owned a Smith & Wesson revolver that had the lock. I've shot some that did, but never had an issue with it. I've heard of people that have, but it's not terribly common. So at the price point that this gun comes in, what practical purpose would the average Joe have in spending that money on this type of gun when in that price range you can get so many other things? Well, my buddy that owns this, like I've mentioned before, he is a revolver guy, not really a fan of semi-autos. He likes simplicity. He just wants to pull it and go bang, not have to deal with magazines, breaking it down to clean and all that. Revolvers are very easy to clean, easy to maintain, easy to shoot, easy to learn how to shoot, you know, as long as you're not learning on something like this. Something like this would be an excellent introduction to revolver shooting or pistol shooting in general. So he just wanted, you know, a higher capacity 22, good for critter buster, or even for his dainty wife to handle, because he's got 357s for home defense and she can't shoot those. But this, being a 22, 10 shots, she can shoot this very easily. Aside from that, if you wanted a quality gun to practice, you know, trigger control, trigger manipulation to go along with your 357 of this size, that's another use for this gun. And as you know, pretty much most semi-auto 22s are limited to 10 rounds. The only one that I know that has a higher capacity than that is the one of the Walthers. I think you can get it with a 12-round magazine, or if you want to get technical, the Ruger Charger, the 1022 based pistol. You know, it can accept the higher capacity 1022 magazines with the 15 and then the 25 rounders from Ruger and other capacities from other manufacturers. But let's load this gun up, put a few rounds through it, and just see what it's all about. Now, I only brought one type of ammo with me here today. It's the Winchester big box, 555 rounds. Should be just fine in this pistol. And that is one of the redeeming factors of 22. A 22 revolver, that is. You're not going to have to really worry about it functioning. A lot of 22 semi-autos favor certain loads, types of ammunition better than others. I know the last time I was out here with Junk Food Zombie, he had his Sig Mosquito with him, and we shot it a bit, and I don't think we got through an entire magazine without having some sort of failure. But, like any revolver, you're not going to have the quickest reloads, but if you're having to reload this, then you better be reaching for something else if it's a defensive situation. If you're just using it for target shooting, critter busting, it'll be just fine. So we've got my steel target down here that is in desperate need of repainting. It's right here. Let's see what we can do with this. Now, like you can see, double action, single action, and the single action trigger pull is incredible. Super light, super crisp. The double action, it's okay. I've gotten used to shooting my 442 double action only, but I have upgraded the trigger springs in it, so it has a nice trigger. Let's try a few double action first, and then we'll go to single action. Well, I can tell you one thing about shooting this. Psychologically, it kind of messes with you a little bit. You got a big gun like this, you're expecting it to jump back at you. When it recoils nothing at all, it's a little like something right here. Feels like, you know, if you had a Dirty Harry gun, but you were Andre the Giant. And with being a bigger gun, you got a big long ejection rod there. No issues at all about ejecting those 22 long rifle cases. And another excellent use for this gun, this would make an awesome backpack gun, because they do make it in different barrel lengths. This is a 6-inch. I believe you can get it in a 4 and 8 as well. So we're back here a little over 50 yards from the target now. And this, like I said, could also be used as a target gun. So I got my steel target down here. Let's see just how accurate it can be. So out of that 10 shots, I think I only hit it like 3 or 4 times. So here's my list of excuses why. It's cold, my hands are kind of numb. It's very, very front heavy. Got this big old barrel sticking out there. The sights, they're good sights. I imagine if I moved up a little bit closer, figured out where to hold it, that was the only the second 10-shot cylinder I've put through this. And did I mention it's also a bit windy out here today? That should be plenty of excuses as to why I missed. And another upside to this gun, because it has so much mass to it, there's so much metal here, it's not really an issue with 22 much anyway. But you can shoot this thing back to back all day long, and it's never really going to get that hot. shells just come out like butter. And this gun also has an incredibly high fun factor as well. Most 22s do. And of course, the only downside to a 22 revolver is they get dirty quick. But that looks kind of funny with that tiny little hole there. But being a stainless, very easy to clean. So in conclusion, this gun here, albeit not a cheap gun, like I said, in price or quality, it's a very, very well made gun. Has a multitude of uses. You could use it for home defense if you were very, very sensitive to recoil. Although I think if you could pick this up and hold it, then you could shoot a 38 special of this size. But you do get double the capacity. 10 shots in this. It would make an excellent backpack gun for hunting, just camping, whatever. This would make quick work of a squirrel, you know, if you didn't have a little 22 rifle with you. I imagine there's a way you could mount a small little scope on this, even if you wanted to do that. And it's just a fun range toy, or you could use it for target shooting. So, multiple uses, excellent gun. I would highly recommend this, and I may have to pick one of these up one of these days. If my buddy ever decides to sell this, I may just buy this one.